Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli asserted that the Doors of Goodness initiative that was launched to help the most underprivileged citizens on Tuesday was directed by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The Prime Minister said the presidential initiative aims at alleviating the burdens felt by the targeted households during Ramadan. The Doors of Goodness initiative was organized by the Long Live Egypt Fund in cooperation with the Social Solidarity Ministry. It was launched at a ceremony at the new capital. The Prime Minister inspected some of the convoy's shipments and trucks that were ready for moving to their destinations. Under the initiatives, up to 5 million foodstuff packages are slated for distribution for the deserving households via convoys that will cover governorates nationwide during Ramadan. In addition, the initiative delivers 4 million fresh and hot meals daily.
On the sidelines of the preparatory meeting for the international conference in support of the Lebanese army and the internal security forces hosted by Egypt, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Badr Abdelati met on Tuesday with his Qatari counterpart Mohammed bin Abdelaziz Al Khulaifi. The meeting discussed the overall distinguished bilateral relations between Egypt and Qatar, where both diplomats affirmed their mutual commitment to continued close coordination and consultation in a manner that serves the shared interests of both countries and their people. The meeting also addressed the Lebanese file, with both sides exchanging views on ways to unify international efforts to support Lebanese state institutions. Abdelati commended the ongoing cooperation within the framework of the Quintet Committee, which includes Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, France and the United States, stressing on the importance of supporting the Lebanese army to enable it to extend its sovereignty over all Lebanese territory, alongside intensifying pressure to halt Israeli violations and implement UN Security Council Resolution 1701. The meeting also touched on developments in Sudan, where both sides stressed the need to intensify efforts to reach humanitarian truce.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati on Tuesday said the credibility of the human rights protection system requires consistent and non-selective application of the international law, delivering a pre-recorded address to the 61st UN Human Rights Council meeting in Geneva. The top diplomat said respecting human rights is a basic pillar in achieving peace, stability and development. Abdelati reiterated Egypt's firm commitment to the protection and consolidation of fundamental human rights on national and international levels. The Foreign Minister asserted that Egypt hosted the Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Conference last October in support of peace in the Gaza Strip, and that effort should continue for its reconstruction. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati asserted that the international participation in the preparatory meeting held in Cairo on Lebanon is a strong message of solidarity with the Lebanese state. In his speech in the opening session of the preparatory meeting for the international conference in support of the Lebanese Armed Forces LAF and Internal Security Forces ISF, Prime Minister Abdelati stressed that the main aim of this initiative is to enable the Lebanese state to achieve the exclusive possession of arms by state institutions. The meeting reviewed the urgent operational needs to the Lebanese army and coordination mechanisms and tackled the final arrangements for Paris conference scheduled to be held on March 5th.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati affirmed Egypt's firm and supportive stance to Lebanon's sovereignty and territorial integrity, stressing the priority of enabling national state institutions to fully assume their responsibilities, atop of which the Lebanese army. This came during Foreign Minister Abdelati's meeting with French President's personal envoy to Lebanon, Jean-Yves Le Drian, on the sidelines of the preparatory meeting for the international conference in support of the Lebanese Armed Forces, LAF, and Internal Security Forces, ISF. The Foreign Minister reiterated that the international community must adopt a comprehensive approach, asserting that stability can only be restored through committing the Israelis to the immediate ceasefire, stopping its aggression, and to a full withdrawal from Lebanese territory.
Separately, Foreign Minister Abdelati hailed deep-rooted relations binding Egypt and Russia over a phone call with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The top diplomat praised the multi-fact bilateral cooperation, notably in economy and trade.
The foreign ministers of Egypt, France, Denmark, Iceland, Indonesia, Ireland, Jordan, Luxembourg, Palestine, Portugal, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Slovenia, Spain, Turkey, and the Secretary Generals of the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation condemned in the strongest terms a series of recent Israeli decisions that introduced sweeping extensions to the unlawful Israeli control over the West Bank. The joint statement added that Israel's illegal settlements and decisions designed to further them are flagrant violation of international law, including previous United Nations Security Council resolutions and the 2024 advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice. The statement called on Israel to put an end to settler violence against Palestinians, including by holding those responsible accountable. Egypt, along with the other mentioned countries, reaffirmed their commitment to taking concrete steps in accordance with international law to counter the expansion of illegal settlements in Palestinian territory and policies and threats of forcible displacement and annexation.
Israeli occupation forces continued their violations of the ceasefire deal in the Gaza Strip, with air raids, heavy fire shootings and artillery shelling. Security sources in Gaza said that Israeli forces shelled Beit Lahia in the north as a drone attack injured a girl child in nearby Jabalia. The sources also said that Israeli tanks opened heavy fire in the south Gaza city of Rafah. 615 people were killed by Israeli forces since the truces started in October.
Egypt's 145th Aid Convoy of Zad al-Izza began entering a south gate of the Rafah border crossing on their way to the Gaza Strip. The convoy carries food, medical and relief aid supplies and shelter materials. It also carries badly needed winter supplies, including cloth and tents, to help Palestinians in Gaza face the harsh winter conditions, as well as fuel to meet the pressing needs of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip.
The 18th batch of the Palestinians returning to Gaza Strip arrived this morning in the Rafah border crossing from the Egyptian side. Sources at Rafah crossing stated that the necessary procedures of the new batch are currently underway, paving the way for their return. A team from the Egyptian Red Crescent ERC received the returning Palestinians at Rafah crossing to facilitate their procedures in coordination with the relevant authorities and to provide them with necessary relief services. Meanwhile, the Egyptian authorities are due to receive the 18th batch of injured and sick Palestinians coming from Gaza Strip to receive treatment in Egyptian hospitals.